2020, global passenger demand fell more than 65%, with demand recovery expected to be slow. Our scenarios suggest that the demand will not return to 2019 levels until possibly 2025. However, some domestic markets are already showing signs of recovery, with Asia Pacific in the lead, especially in China. The chart illustrates that the year-on-year domestic capacity change in Asia Pacific and China have led to global seat capacity change as a consequence of the lower confirmed virus cases in Asia. It's at a much lower rate than in Europe and Americas. The recovery is driven by domestic travel, since there remains little relaxation of international travel restrictions. The domestic seat capacity share increased to 88% in the first 2 months of 2021 compared to 67% for the same period last year. Looking at domestic demand in the major Asia-Pacific countries, it is evident that China and South Korea are among the fastest recovering countries. The various restrictive measures to control the spread of the virus seem to be rewarded by faster recovery. The resumption of economic activity has also played a role. Malaysia is still way behind due to the high number of daily cases. The country has had an 80% year-on-year reduction in domestic demand for 10 consecutive months. Domestic market recovery is not a given. New outbreaks drive immediate demand reduction. The data shows setbacks in China, South Korea, and Indonesia due to new waves in December and January. Demand has remained static in recent months, and we may not see a recovery before the summer. In line with demand recovery, fleet storage has returned to a lower level for single-aisle aircraft. The Asia-Pacific fleet stored reduced from a peak of 69% in April 2020 to 32% in February this year. The storage rate of the single-aisle fleet is at 27%, compared to the pre-COVID level of 5%. More airlines are returning aircraft to service to accommodate the growing domestic demand. However, this has slowed, indicating that airlines are becoming more cautious in capacity planning. Domestic demand may not increase significantly in coming months, and this may keep the return to service rate slow. Daily aircraft tracked and average flight hours per aircraft both increased in Asia Pacific, and the latter is now back to more than 75% of pre-COVID level. There were some setbacks in December and January across different countries in the region as utilization reduced due to the lockdown. But once these restrictions were lifted, utilization improved. Lessors will be happy with the high utilization, as they can receive higher rental payments from any power-by-the-hour contracts, which were renegotiated with airline last year. MRO business may also improve with the increase in aircraft utilization and in-service fleets. To conclude, there are still many uncertainties in the market. Demand remains difficult to predict, and matching it with supply is a massive challenge. But there are key things we can monitor as they become drivers for domestic market recovery in 2021. Vaccination rollout started in many Asia-Pacific countries around the turn of the year. Mass vaccination speed varies by country, the size of population, vaccine supply, distributions, and even the availability of healthcare workers. Travel restrictions directly link to this pace. Airlines must rapidly react to adjust capacity and minimize costs whilst maximizing revenues in this challenging period. And the new case rate is critical. We saw the impact in passenger demand of recent lockdowns implemented by the governments in China and Australia. Economic indicators such as real GDP growth and the recovery of consumption remain valid for monitoring domestic market recovery. They are key metrics of passenger demand. Leisure travel will recover before business travel. After virtual lockdown for more than a year, we are all eager to travel. Meantime, corporations are discouraging business travel, as the employees' health is the primary concern. Just as our region was expected to be the key driver to growth in the commercial aviation sector pre-pandemic, we may look to our region to lead the world in pandemic recovery.